Hey everybody, it's Karyn Bryant, of course, talking to our MMA Heat podcast partner, Alan Jouban, who was victorious last night at UFC Orlando in a fight over Ben Saunders. Alan, this was such an incredible performance for you. Just watching it, it kind of looked like your best one in many ways, but also the most emotional one, right? So how do you feel about the victory and specifically getting a victory over a friend of yours?
Yeah, no, it was an emotional one. It was all that wrapped up because like you said, Ben's a friend of mine, a guy that I had respect for, and so I was kind of trying to balance the whole. I want to show respect, but I don't want to show respect and give him motivation or encouragement during the fight. So I was trying to balance that. I think a lot of people saw it during the broadcast. I was able to find my family in the crowd, and like I felt like every time I would look at him, I would get this rush inside of me, and I kept looking at him like every 30 seconds just to keep it going. I was almost wanting Bruce Buffer to hurry up and speed through the introduction so I could start the fight with that fire inside of me.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy moment, but I appreciate you saying that it was one of my best. That's what I was shooting for. I wanted one of my best performances, and on the way to the arena, I reposted like this training footage from Black House that one of my guys put out. And I was captioning it, and I think I quoted Muhammad Ali or something. I'll show you how great I am. And I remember writing that and thinking, am I setting myself up? Am I setting the bar too high? You know, am I saying this is going to be my best performance? Should I just say something else? And I said, you know what? Like setting the bar high, saying it like that, posting that, and then that was the mindset I had throughout the warm-up, throughout going into the octagon. Have your best performance, and that's. I'm glad that you saw it that way as well. I felt good about it.
Absolutely, and I just want to say, as an apology to folks, you and I are both right now on like hotspots and hotel Wi-Fi. We just really wanted to get this out because we can't do the MMA Heat Champagne podcast tomorrow because both of us and stuff will still be on the road or hanging out. But we will be getting a Champagne podcast. It'll be next Monday because you absolutely deserve it. Okay, so that said. I knew how much was going into this fight. Obviously, I saw you week in and week out leading up to this fight. And, you were coming off of 2 losses. So you needed this. You probably needed this win at this point in your career more than any other win. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. I mean, it was something that I wasn't trying to put too much thought into, having my back against the wall. But you cannot not think about it. You cannot think that if I was at a 3-fight deficit, if I went 3 fights in a row that I lost, there's a possibility of being cut, and I couldn't even imagine being cut from the UFC. You know, this is my dream, and I plan to stay here for a long time. So it was something that was a driving factor going into camp, but it wasn't on my mind every day, but it was a driving factor for getting my mind right throughout camp.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual fight. Thank you so much, Alan, for not getting rocked in the first round and scaring the bejesus out of me and all of your fans. You seemed very much in control. So, and you had great takedown defense. You could see clearly, obviously, Ben wanted to take it to the ground. There was one point when you had him on the ground, and he was kind of inviting you in, to play the guard game, to play the ground game, and very wisely you kept the fight on the feet. But how closely did the fight match your game planning, and how well do you think you executed the plan that you did have?
I would say 50-50 almost. I mean, I felt, let me say first off, this was one of the most prepared fights I've ever been. Most prepared I've ever been for a fight. And I think it was a little bit of me doing the extra bit during camp. But I also brought in Jared Carlson, my good friend who's also a 10th planet black belt, to kind of mimic Ben on the ground. And so I was very prepared for the rubber guard. And then we did a lot of stuff on the feet to prepare ourselves for it. The thing that threw me off, though, Karyn, is he comes out. I trained for 2 months against southpaws and sparred southpaws, brought southpaws in, and he came out and fought orthodox the entire fight. And so it was funny that I trained for southpaws versus southpaw and had all these different techniques that I wanted to show.
Right.
And it actually improved my southpaw against orthodox game because I fought a better fight against the normal type of fight that I do, lefty against righty. But yeah, I thought he came out right away and orthodox, and the plan was whenever he goes to righty, I wanted to blast the left kick, punish him, make him switch back, and hurt him. So I blasted the left kick right away, and he didn't switch. I blasted it again, he never switched, and then I realized, you know what? he feels comfortable. He feels that there's a hole there in my game that he can maybe try to exploit by staying orthodox against me. I could see him kind of baiting me in. He was giving me his lead leg. He wanted me to go lead leg against lead leg so he could throw the straight right down the pipe, which is what got caught in my last fight. I could see him baiting me. I didn't throw that lead leg maybe one time the entire fight. I stayed with the inside kick with my left kick, and it was successful. But it was interesting to see him fight an entire fight from his weak side stance because he probably thought there was an opening there that he can capitalize on.
Yeah, and also, too, with Ben, you know, he does have a longer reach. I don't remember exactly what the matchup is for you, but yet you were still able to get in there and land a lot of elbows. You had some lead elbows in there. I felt like, you know, we talk about Muay Thai fighters obviously being 8-point strikers, but I really feel like last night you truly were, and you were truly able to do that. So you feel good about how you were able to get inside on that reach advantage?
Yeah, and that's something that we worked on. The thing with Ben is he feels super comfortable in the clinch. And I noticed that studying Ben that he's either really, really rangy or he's trying to get in on the inside right away. So if Ben can touch you with his hands, he's probably trying to clinch you. And so that's what we worked on, keeping that distance. Don't engage the clinch. And that's what opened up the elbows because every time I did not allow him to completely clinch and I kind of pushed him away, then I kept myself in elbow range. And so that's kind of our plan of attack. Don't let him become fully into the clinch range. And when you push away, he was still pressuring. That's when I started opening up on the elbows and was able to catch him a lot.
And I know Kenny Johnson is so psyched for your takedown defense, right? Because he tried a couple times, and you're like, no, not today. Not today, son.
Yeah, Ben's not really known for his like double leg level change wrestling. He's more of a trip guy. But Kenny's always just saying, as soon as you get in the cage, left, right, don't stay there. And I thought we did it well. I still haven't even seen the fight yet, to be honest. I've seen the highlights, so I want to go back and assess it. But the one thing that was in my mind, there was a lot of things in my mind, but between my family being there, kind of giving me that fire, but it was also just the fight with Nico, I was mad because I didn't get to show anything. The fight with Gunnar, he took me down for an entire first round, and he caught me in the second round. I didn't get to show anything. In this fight, I was saying, there's no way. If I'm going to lose this fight, I'm going to lose, but I'm going to show everything. I'm going to leave it all in the octagon. So I went out there, man. I remember just everything they were saying, my coaches, I was throwing it. I was doing it. I even threw the capoeira kick. I think I did some tricky stuff that I wanted to. I did almost everything besides the cartwheel kick and the Showtime kick. But there was things that I just been wanting to display in the octagon that I hadn't had the chance the last two fights, and I wasn't going to let that happen this one.
And I really feel like that's why it was such an exemplary performance, because you did show everything, and the guy that people knew who have thrown cartwheel kicks and stuff, like you said, we haven't seen that in a little while. So for those of us who know that you have that, it was a really welcome thing to see again. And I feel like for those who maybe are getting to know you, maybe we're like, oh snap, like didn't have an idea that you had that in you. So I feel like, that too really just positions you so well for your next opportunity there. One thing that I do want to ask you though, because you did throw so many inside leg kicks and obviously you were putting in such a high output. How are you feeling after the fight? What's the deal? All your Insta stories are like, my foot, I'm in the kitchen. I mean, the hotel sink. So what's the story on the foot?
Well, as I said in my speech, I promised Cage we were going to go to, almost said Astro World, Disney World today. We did that. I ended up having to rent a cart, though. My foot was swollen. I brought some beautiful dress shoes for my post-fight interviews. I didn't get to wear those. They wouldn't fit on my foot. On MMA Heat, I have a broken foot. So, unfortunately, that happens. You know, like especially like you said, when the left leg kick is going on the inside, you hit a lot of knees, you hit things. I'm not sure what point I broke it. It was sometime in the first round. I remember my foot was hurting. But honestly, I thought it was fine. After the fight, I thought, the soft tissue, my feet are always swollen after fights, so it'll be okay. My hand was really swollen as well, and that was the thing that I was really more concerned with was my hand being broken. That's kind of also what led me to throw so many elbows. But I just got back from the ER. My foot was getting pretty bad today after being in Disney World all day. And, the doctor saw, he said 1 or 2 fractures. So, unfortunate, I'm on crutches. I'm in a boot. I'll fly back to LA tomorrow. I'll call the UFC, try to go see one of the top physicians, pinpoint what's going on. But I suspect it's probably a fracture hairline. Won't require surgery. Probably 4 to 6 week healing time is what I'm assuming. And then hopefully get right back into it. But it's great coming off of a win with a bonus, it eases the pain, to be honest.
Sure.
But it sucks because I was talking to Sean Shelby in the back, and I was saying, look, this is the year, man. This is the year.
Yes.
I'm making it happen. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to call you in a week. Let's get it going. I want to fight in 2 or 3 months. And now I might have to put that on hold, pump the brakes a little bit. But we'll see. Like I said, a fracture in the foot, I had one last year. It only took about 4 weeks to heal, and hopefully that's the same kind of a time scale on this one as well.
And people should know you're basically Wolverine anyway, because you'll fight, and then we come in and do the podcast. We're like, dude, weren't you in a fight like 3 days ago or whatever, and you heal up so fast. So, hopefully it's not anything major there. I do want to ask you, I know you got to go, you got a lot to do, but let's talk about that speech because it was so emotional. And obviously, I knew leading up to this how much everything meant to you and that it was going to be the first time Cage was going to be there and everything with your anniversary. And maybe I have an idea of why, but I don't want to assume, so I'll ask you, why did it mean so much for you to have Cage there, and why was that so important for you to be victorious in front of your son?
Yeah, I didn't see the post-fight speech yet, so I need to go back and kind of remember everything that I said exactly. I know I started to kind of get a little emotional, and I didn't want it to be, a tearjerker type thing, but I had to be real with what was on my mind. And like I said, the only thing I remember is I got into the octagon before the fight, and every time I locked eyes with Cage and my wife and the whole family, I just felt this rush of fire inside of me, and I felt invincible. I felt whoever they put in the with me, I was going to win.
Right.
And so I kept doing that. And then when the fight was finally over, I played it in my head so many times that I was going to, climb the cage and go get him. And I told him, I said, after the fight, I want you to come down and I want to grab you. I want to bring you to the back. I was able to do all of that stuff. I brought them in the back. I gave Nicole a ring for our anniversary when we were taking our victory pictures with the UFC photographer. It was everything I had been thinking about every single day for the last 2 months. So when it all actually happens, it's kind of like it's a surreal moment, moment. But yeah, man, something about my connection with Cage. It's like you always have to be strong for somebody, when you're the dad, and I feel like I'm always strong for him. And when he's around, I have no fear because I'm the one being strong. And the same thing happened. Normally, when I get into the octagon, I'm thinking, all right, execute. Yeah. But there's a fear inside of me, and I was going through that kind of rotation, execute. And then when I saw him, it was like no fear, kill mode, just go beast mode. And yeah, that came out in the post-fight speech. I was kind of acknowledging that. But it was great to have him there. Just great to have him go to my first fight, to get a big win like that. Everything that I envisioned. It was a great moment. I was super happy.
Yeah, it literally, you couldn't have scripted it better. Like, I literally feel like the end movie credits should have rolled in the end, like when you got your beautiful wife on one side, the little man on the other, like walking down the tunnel. I'm like, roll credits, man. Like, it was perfect. And I'm really happy that I was able to be there too. I know, Wade, obviously our other part of MMA Heat, wishes he could have been there as well. But to be able to see you guys backstage and everything, it really meant a lot to me too. Because I know how much it means to all of you. And obviously I'm quite invested in the three of you. I think you're all just such wonderful people. So that was really awesome. And yeah, I just think it's so great. I know one thing Michael Bisping had said the other day on UFC Tonight, we were saying like who should be next for Donald Cerrone. And we were saying if he stays at 170, and Michael had actually suggested the winner of you versus Ben. And I reminded Michael that you had tried to step in for Cowboy at UFC 205, and commission wouldn't allow it. But I know now, obviously with the foot, it's a little bit of an issue. But I mean, I think Cowboy would be an awesome matchup. If not that, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mentioned Cowboy in one of my interviews. The thing that's bad, I'm just gonna be honest. Like I could try to promote it right now, but to be honest, the thing that's bad about Cowboy is I like him. I don't know him as much. I hadn't trained with him as much as I did with Ben. I've only met Cowboy a handful of times, but I probably like him just as much. I'm a fan of Cowboy. I mean, his lifestyle is like what I would like my lifestyle to be. If I didn't live in LA, I'd love to have a ranch and horses and everything that he has, man. He's just a cool guy, and he's just, he's an entertainer. Yeah. With that said, he's such a fan-friendly fighter. Yeah. Our styles would match up great together. So great. It's something that's very doable. It's just what I was getting at, to be realistic, is I just fought a friend. Cowboy just had this kind of like bonding moment with his last fight. I don't know if the fans want another friend-on-friend fight. I think they want to see a little Mike Perry, mean stuff going on, or
Colby Covington. Do the world a favor. A lot of people are mad at him. A lot of people would love to see the good guy Alan Jouban against the bad guy.
We definitely crossed the line on that one. I felt bad for Mike Perry. I wanted to, like, if I saw Mike, I wanted to. I would have went and apologized. Just, I'm sorry that happened to you guys. But that's another story. But I feel like even though the Cowboy fight is interesting, I like him so much, I would fight him. But I don't know if the fans want to see two guys hugging anymore in the octagon. It would have to be somebody that would bring that fire out, something different. And I mentioned Dong Kim, I believe, the Korean fighter, could be an interesting matchup, or anybody really has some momentum behind them that makes an exciting fight. I'm always down.
Awesome. Well, I think it's great. And, obviously we'll be back with the Champagne podcast and MMA Heat. And I know people see you on UFC Now all the time. And I'm hoping that we can get you back on the desk at Fox. A lot of time when you get that winning momentum and everything. So I would also hit up the folks at Zupa about some
I'll be emailing them tomorrow for sure.
Awesome. Well, yes, listen, I know you got a lot to do, and people may have seen Cage running back and forth in the background there. But listen, this was just such a great performance, and just so proud of you, so happy for you, and just really psyched. So good job.
Thank you, man. And thank you to all the fans, man. I've been getting a lot of support from everybody. Thank you guys for tuning into the show, watching me fight, all the support. I've heard nothing but great stuff about the fight, about my family, about everything. So it's been a dream. I appreciate it, guys. Awesome,
Alan. All right, well, hopefully the foot doesn't turn out to be too big a deal, and you don't get, too hard a time on the airport and all that, but we will catch up with you back in LA. And I don't know, you did, see, I tweeted out, I said, hey, Ben and Alan, they didn't really want to fight each other, but I was like, fight of the night so far, let's just keep our fingers crossed for the 50K. And then you actually got it. So at what point did you find out you got that bonus? Because I know I texted you later in the night, but I was like, by then you probably had heard. But I don't know.
Yeah, that was so fun. So we were all at the hotel lobby. The UFC parties get there, and we're all drinking. And I had a good crew of like 15 people with me. And we were all checking updates, and nobody could find it. And they were looking at me, and I was like, well, Karyn usually is one of the first people to find out.
Right.
If Karyn texts me, I'll let you know. And then my manager Kyle walked up, and he goes, hey. And he it was something weird. And I was like, what? And he goes, what are you going to do with 50 extra grand? And I go, get out of here, bro. He showed me the phone, and then I told a couple of people, I said, yo, we got fight of the night. And everybody went nuts, and there were like 15 people started screaming with their hands up in the air. It was a fun, man. It was a blast to do that around everybody. And everybody was like, all the other fighters around the bar was looking in, asking questions. So it was a fun moment with all my people to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I actually found out in the middle of the post-fight show when I couldn't text you right then. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know the timing of it. But it was funny because they told me in my ear, because I was asking, like, do we have the bonuses? Do we have the bonuses? And they were like, yeah. And so one of my producers goes in my ear, and she's like, well, Alan got a bonus. And I was like, yes. Yeah. And the way she phrased it, I was like, oh, cool, he got the performance bonus. And then she said, no, he got fight of the night. And I was like, yes, hallelujah, because I wanted Ben to get something too. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. The one goal that I didn't quite meet was performance of the night. That was my big issue. My big thing is I wanted my best performance. And if you have your best performance, then it shouldn't be a fight of the night because you shouldn't be getting tagged up.
Right.
But I was happy because even though I didn't meet that exact goal, I got the 50 grand. And if I'm going to share the bonus with somebody, it might as well be a friend like Ben.
Yep.
Ben got some money. I texted him. He was super happy about it, so it was good.
Awesome. Well, cool. I guess your truck is getting tricked out.
Oh yeah. I can finally.
Yes.
I can finally go back to having dreams about trucks again and stuff because I was blocking it. I was driving down the road, only thinking about what am I doing at the gym today, not thinking about daydreaming about trucks. But the truck will be a hot topic on the MMA Heat podcast for the next couple of weeks. Sorry, guys.
Absolutely. And hey, you got an extra $50,000 last night. I didn't, so I think you're buying the Cristal, baby.
We might have to do a little like Ralph special.
Ralph, a little Corbell.
Yeah.
Awesome, Alan. All right, well, take it easy. We will see you back in LA, and congrats again.
Thank you, Karyn. See you guys.